Are you married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder and planning to apply for a green card through marriage? If yes, this is a video you absolutely must watch. Under President Trump's renewed administration in 2025, immigration policies have taken a major turn, especially for spouses trying to immigrate to the United States. Whether you've already started the process or you're just beginning to consider it, the new changes can directly impact your ability to stay in the U.S. or bring your spouse into the country. In this video, we'll explain everything you need to know, from updated forms and deeper fraud investigations to new deportation risks and stricter interviews. These aren't just rumors. They're real policies, already in effect, and they're already impacting thousands of couples. Marriage-based immigration has traditionally been seen as a secure and direct route to permanent residency. A U.S. citizen could sponsor their foreign spouse and get them a green card through Form I-130, while green card holders could also sponsor their spouses, albeit with longer wait times. But in 2025, that path has become far more complex. The Trump administration, citing concerns over fraud and abuse, has empowered U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, to implement tighter regulations, more investigations, and tougher standards for spousal petitions. These changes have quietly gone into effect, and many families don't even realize how much danger they're in until it's too late. One of the biggest changes is the implementation of a new marriage fraud detection protocol. This is not just a vague increase in background checks. It's a detailed internal checklist USCIS officers must now follow when reviewing spousal petitions. It includes reviewing your immigration history, cross-checking your social media activity, comparing timelines of your relationship, and even analyzing your travel records. If the agency notices anything inconsistent or suspicious, like a sudden marriage after a visa overstay or lack of joint financial evidence, your case could be flagged for additional review or denial. The government is now treating marriage fraud as a top priority, and that means genuine couples are facing more pressure to prove their relationship is real. What's even more alarming is that the new policies under Trump allow USCIS to initiate deportation proceedings, even while a green card application is pending. In the past, applicants with pending petitions were generally safe from removal unless they had serious criminal issues. But now, under the Trump-era guidance, if a foreign spouse is found to have overstayed their visa or provided incomplete documentation, they could be placed in removal proceedings, even if they are legally married to a U.S. citizen. This means simply applying for a green card does not protect you anymore. Your application must be airtight, with no errors, no missing documents, and no questionable history. Adding to the confusion is the quiet revision of major immigration forms in early 2025. USCIS updated the I-130, I-485, and I-129F forms without making major public announcements. The new additions include additional questions, red flag warnings about fraud, and more detailed background sections. These changes aren't just cosmetic. Submitting an old version of a form, even if it's only slightly outdated, now leads to automatic rejection of your petition. Many couples have had their cases delayed by months because they accidentally submitted the wrong edition. So if you're applying now, double-check the edition date listed at the bottom of the form and compare it to the USCIS website. Another major change under the Trump administration is the increased use of Stokes interviews. These are intense interviews where each spouse is questioned separately for over an hour, with the answers then compared for consistency. Officers ask very specific questions, like, what side of the bed does your spouse sleep on? What kind of shampoo do they use? Who woke up first this morning? What did you eat for dinner 3 nights ago? The goal is to detect deception or gaps in your relationship story. Even genuine couples can struggle under this pressure, especially if they've been in a long-distance relationship or have cultural differences. But mistakes can now lead to denials or even accusations of marriage fraud. The legal risks involved in marriage-based immigration have also increased. If USCIS suspects that your marriage is fake or primarily for immigration benefits, you could be permanently barred from receiving any U.S. immigration benefit in the future. Worse, you could be referred for prosecution under federal law, which carries penalties of up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Even if your relationship is real, failing to provide sufficient evidence can make your petition appear suspicious. And USCIS officers are now under instructions to assume fraud until proven otherwise, not the other way around. Overstaying a visa used to be treated leniently in marriage-based applications, especially when the U.S. spouse was a citizen. That's no longer the case in 2025. If a foreign spouse overstays a tourist, student, or work visa, that overstay is now factored into their green card eligibility. Staying more than 180 days without status could trigger a 3-year ban from re-entering the U.S. Staying more than a year could result in a 10-year ban. These bars still apply, even if you're married to a U.S. citizen, unless you qualify for and receive a hardship waiver, which is now harder to get than ever before. Hardship waivers are supposed to protect families from being separated unfairly, but in 2025, USCIS has quietly changed the internal guidelines to make these waivers more difficult. Now, it's not enough to say that your U.S. spouse will suffer emotional or financial hardship if you're deported. You must provide extreme and compelling evidence, like medical conditions, documented trauma, or exceptional circumstances that show your spouse's life would be devastated by your absence. Generic letters or bank statements are no longer enough. You need a full legal strategy with supporting documentation. There is some hope on the horizon. While the Trump administration is enforcing stricter policies, some members of Congress are trying to pass reform laws that would make the process fairer for families. The Dignity Act of 2025, introduced in the House earlier this year, aims to shorten green card wait times, introduce dual-intent visas for students and spouses, and reduce the burden on immigrant families. Another bill, the American Families United Act, would allow immigration judges more discretion to stop deportations of spouses and children of U.S. citizens, especially when the separation would cause extreme hardship. Unfortunately, these bills are still under debate and haven't passed into law yet. So what should you do if you're applying for a marriage-based green card in 2025? First, start by collecting every piece of evidence you can. Photos, travel itineraries, text messages, joint leases, shared bank accounts, utility bills, wedding invitations. Everything matters. The more proof you have, the better. Second, make sure your application is 100% accurate and up to date. Don't rely on blogs or YouTube videos from previous years. USCIS rules are changing rapidly under Trump, and you need to stay current. Third, consider hiring a qualified immigration attorney, especially if you have any complications like a visa overstay, a prior denial, or a criminal history. The stakes are too high to go it alone in 2025. Also, remember that honesty is your strongest defense. Never lie on a form, and never coach your spouse to memorize fake stories. If you don't know an answer during your interview, say so. A sincere "I don't remember" is better than a made-up answer that doesn't match your spouse's version. USCIS officers are trained to detect deception, and being honest, even about gaps or mistakes, can work in your favor. Lying, however, can permanently destroy your chances of getting a green card. Lastly, don't wait until the last minute. USCIS processing times are long, often 12 to 24 months. If you think you'll need to adjust status or apply from abroad, start preparing now. Monitor official USCIS updates and be ready for new forms, higher fees, and stricter timelines. In the Trump era, immigration is no longer predictable, and even small mistakes can cost you everything. In conclusion, the rules for spousal immigration under President Trump's 2025 administration have changed drastically. What used to be a relatively straightforward process is now a legal minefield filled with delays, denials, and the constant risk of deportation. But with the right knowledge, preparation, and professional support, you can still succeed. True love deserves a fair chance. Don't let policy changes stop your future. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an immigration update. Drop a comment if you have questions about your case or want us to cover another immigration topic. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.